Welcome to this explainer. When we think about how a nation actually builds its identity, it's really easy to just picture politicians writing laws or generals fighting epic battles. But today, we're diving into something much deeper. We're going to explore how religion and the arts act as these incredibly powerful, almost invisible forces that shape our national identity, reflect our deepest cultural values, and literally inspire massive societal reform. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to start with faith in American freedoms, shift into art, music, and identity, explore how faith inspires reform, look at creativity as a gift, and then wrap things up with education, morality, and peace. Okay, let's start with this quote. Whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. That's from 1 Corinthians 10:31, and it really anchors the big idea for our entire discussion today. It gives us the ultimate why behind this whole philosophy, showing us that our personal actions, those little sparks of creativity, and our deep-seated faith, they are permanently connected. They aren't just, separate compartments of life. They all blend together to shape who we are as individuals and ultimately who we become as a nation. All right, jumping right into Section 1, Faith and American Freedoms. So think about this for a second. What does the First Amendment actually protect when it comes to religion? When the founders were wrestling with things like the Establishment and Free Exercise Clauses, they weren't just drafting dry, boring laws. They were having intense, fiery public debates that laid the absolute bedrock of our national liberties. The source material really highlights that religion actively influenced the founding of America's core freedoms. Grasping that historical foundation is absolutely crucial if we want to understand how our modern identity developed over time.
Moving along to Section 2, Art, Music, and Identity.
Take the Hudson River School as a prime example. We're talking about a famous mid-19th century art movement known for breathtaking landscape paintings. But honestly, this wasn't just about painting pretty scenery. These artists were documenting a young nation going through some incredible growing pains, shifting from soaring patriotism to deep social protest. Their work is literally a visual record of the nation's emotional and moral landscape. So when we study this stuff, we aren't just studying paint on a canvas. We're essentially studying the heartbeat of history. And what about music? Quick trivia. Who wrote the Battle Hymn of the Republic? Well, it was Julia Ward Howe, right in the thick of the American Civil War. You see, music back then wasn't just for weekends entertainment or background noise. No way. It was a vital rallying cry. In times of immense struggle or huge celebration, songs united people. They conveyed these powerful, shared beliefs that words alone just kind of struggled to express. Which brings us to Section 3, How Faith Inspires Reform. Just off the top of your head, can you name a reform movement influenced by religion? Maybe you instantly thought of the abolitionist movement against slavery, or perhaps the civil rights movement led by figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Historically, faith has been this incredibly dynamic engine for both personal transformation and massive social change. Time and time again, moral vision and religious conviction have pushed societies to look in the mirror, demand better, and actually fight for justice. To tie this all together, it really boils down to 3 key insights. Number 1, faith inspires personal and social change. Number 2, art and music express values that words alone just can't. And number 3, studying culture deepens our historical understanding. This completely summarizes why looking at the intersection of culture and religion matters so much. I mean, if you just want the raw facts of history, you read a timeline. But if you want to understand the actual soul of history, you have to look at the people's faith and their art. Let's jump into Section 4, Creativity as a Gift. Have you ever wondered why art and religion so often work hand in hand to shape society? It's actually because they share a common goal: communicating powerful moral values. Think about standing in front of a towering stained glass window or listening to a stirring symphony. They bypass all our logical barriers and speak directly to the heart. They inspire and unite people in a way that just listing off dry facts never could. As Colossians 3:23 puts it, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord. This is a beautiful reminder that creativity is at its core a gift meant to serve others. Whether your unique talent is public speaking, painting, singing, or just serving your community, it's a tool meant for a higher purpose. It's meant to inspire goodness. And finally, Section 5, Education, Morality, and Peace. According to the HeroesMart Academy philosophy, we're looking at a pretty stark contrast here. On one hand, they argue that having an education without a moral compass is fundamentally flawed, it just leads to bad choices and ultimately hurt. But on the other hand, maintaining a spiritual mindset, specifically referencing Romans 8, promises true peace of mind to everyone who takes that path.
Which brings us to the most practical takeaway for today: using your talents to inspire goodness and justice in your own community. Because honestly, we aren't just studying these topics for the sake of winning at trivia night. We take these historical lessons, how faith sparked reform, how art captured the truth of an era, and we actively use them to better our world right now.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a real challenge based on everything we've talked about. If education without morality only leads to hurt, how will you use your unique, creative gifts today to bring peace and justice to your community? Because, who knows, your talents might just write the very next chapter of our cultural history. Thanks for joining me today, and I really challenge you to get out there and use your gifts for good.